Hey everyone, this is Matt with Surf City TCG. If you're new to my channel, I specialize in EDH/Commander content for bracket 3, top of the line, optimized Commander decks, typically with no infinite combos. I'm back today with one of my complete coaching session videos. In the first coaching session, I worked with Julito to create a very powerful bracket 4 Sam and Frodo deck with tons of infinites and just a really deadly and powerful deck. I'll link that coaching video here if you're interested. In today's coaching, we're talking about reducing that deck's power level from a mid to high bracket 4 down to a very top of the line bracket 3, so extremely powerful, but still within the confines of bracket 3, meaning 3 game changers, no infinites before turn 7, etc. So here it is for you in its entirety. If this is something that you would be interested in, you can contact me directly on Discord. My handle there is SurfCityTCG, or the link to my Discord is in the video description and comments below. Alternatively, check out my Patreon for more info on how to book one of these sessions. So without further ado, here it is. Enjoy! All right, welcome back, Julio. Thanks for setting up this time with me. Today, I think what we're doing is taking the bracket 4 Frodo and Sam list that I put together last time and making a very optimized and very powerful bracket 3 version of it. Is that right? Anything you wanted to add? Anything that I missed with that?
No, I think you really I think you hit it on the head. Can't wait to see it.
Cool. So here's the list. I have sent it to you already, so whether or not you've had a chance to take a look, it doesn't matter. What I went with as a focus of this deck is like leaning into the synergy that Frodo and Sam have, the creation of food, the sacrificing of food. I cut a lot of the infinites that were a little bit more forced into the bracket 4 version just to make it more powerful. So the stuff like the Protean Hulk combos and just some of the less synergistic infinites, and the only ones that remain are ones that involve either some sort of life gain or some sort of food piece. The big ones being Exquisite Blood and Sanguine Bond is still here. And you could always cut these if you want. Like, I always play with no infinites, but I know that you play in a little bit more competitive meta. So, you know, if you ever want to cut some or all of these combos, just let me know and we can make adjustments to do that. So that combo is still here, along with some other pieces like Enduring Tenacity that can sub in for one of those two parts. And then there's still the Heliod Suncrowned plus Walking Ballista Infinite. Where is it? Let me sort by alphabetical. So that's still here because it obviously involves life gain. So, and the nice thing about these infinites is you can choose to pull the trigger on them if you want to. So sometimes like you'll be in a game where it's feeling a little bit lower powered or people just having a tough start, and you have the option to find a combo like this. For example, of the 3 game changers we're running, one of them is Enlightened Tutor because it's really strong in this deck and it can find pretty much everything we want to be finding anyway, namely the One Ring, one of these 2 pieces of the Infinite, Sanguine and Exquisite Blood. It can find like Smothering Tithe, sometimes you'll want to get, and it can find Heliod or Walking Ballista. So that's why I chose to go with Enlightened Tutor versus a strictly, quote unquote, strictly better tutor like Vampiric Tutor. Just because I feel like this is a little bit more of a bracket 3 tutor. Now, that being said, if you wanted to run Vampiric, it's probably just straight up better than this because sometimes you can just find a land if you need it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it makes sense to run Enlightened here. And I like to vary it up and run the one that I think is makes more sense for the deck. There are still some other infinites in here too, like stuff involving Experimental Confectioner. I don't really remember what they all are specifically, so it might be, actually you probably have learned them better than I have at this point. So
yeah, I have a whole list on I'm pulling up the Word document right now with a whole list of combos and things like that to be on the lookout for.
yeah, that's great. And then even if you ever like find that you didn't find what you're looking for in the list, you can always just look it up on here and find it that way too. Like go to combos for Experimental Confectioner and see all the cards that involve this card to see if you have any other pieces. So that's a resource that I would have open while you're playing, at least, you know, if you're playing online versus playing in person.
Yep.
So I'm thinking for this time, let me start the timer actually. I didn't do that. I'm thinking for this time we'll spend like the first 30 minutes or less talking about what the deck does, because you already know that. We'll talk about, I'll like compare it to both my bracket 3 list, which I know you took inspiration from, and then your bracket 4 list, so we can see what the main differences are. But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you probably would get the most value and benefit out of just doing lots of mulligan practice.
Yeah,
Does
and
that,
that's the same, and it goes the same way with the Sauron deck as well. Just
yeah,
whenever I get a chance, I just do Mulligan practice. I think that's the best thing to do, honestly.
that is the best. It doesn't always represent like real in-game situations though. So
Hmm.
if you can like think back to a situation or even invent one on the spot where we could talk through some like complicated interactions, I know that that could be something that might be helpful for you too. So
100%.
feel free to do that if you feel like we can. And I guess I'll try to think of stuff as we do mulligan practice too. So do you even
Excellent.
want to spend time doing the deck comparisons, or would you rather just spend all the time doing mulligans?
Uh, I just have a couple of cards to see to
Okay.
just to pick your brain as to why they're not. And yeah, I think Mulligan practice after would be the best because I think I do have a good understanding of how all these cards work because I've played with most of them already. So I
Okay.
do know how they work. It's just some additions and some things that were cut just to see your reasoning.
Sure.
And one thing from the Sauron video that we did that I think that really it's really helpful is we set out what you should be looking out for. So for example, it
Mm-hmm.
was either look for the One Ring, if you then look for the Sauron, have that in the back of your
Yeah.
head to bring him out of the
Yeah.
command zone. Or third, do the whole Cabal coffers into Airborg, whatever. I think that honestly that's great because with that, I'm able to guide my thinking. Okay, I'm looking at my mulligan. I'm looking at my hand. Is this
Yeah.
getting me closer to any of
Yeah.
those steps? No? Okay, I'm not keeping this hand. That's I think that really was excellent. And that helped me a ton.
Okay, good. So let's do that. I think the easiest way to get to that is to talk about the best cards in the deck and when you should be looking for certain ones versus others, depending on the opponents you're up against and what you know about those commanders. So I'd say like the One Ring is I think plan A in this deck as well. And pretty much in any bracket 3 deck, getting the One Ring out is probably the best thing you can do because it draws you into so many other things that like you don't need to find anything else. Tutors don't matter when you're drawing 10 cards and then 15 and then 21. So I think this should be plan A is getting the ring out as fast as you can. Now that could waver a little bit if you are up against a lot of control and you're worried that it might get countered. Then I would maybe think about doing something else. And what I might do actually, just to test this out, is I'll open up my game history and we could pretend like you're up against these three commanders now and like maybe talk through a couple of situations like that. So I think number one is look for ways to find the One Ring. So that's just, of course, drawing it naturally. But if we switch over to my types and tags and look at our tutors, all three of these, or not Saga, both of these tutors can get you there too, Beseech and Enlightened Tutor. And we're currently running Smothering Tithe. That is the flex spot. So if you feel like you just want even more ways to find the One Ring, I guess we could swap in either a vampiric or demonic tutor
Yeah.
for that spot. But I think the option of finding Tithe is pretty good. Tithe is, you know,
Yeah. It's
the
crazy.
the thing about like the One Ring is like, there are going to be times where you're constrained on mana, and that's probably going to happen more often than you'll be constrained on cards. So I'd say, and there are a lot of draw engines in this deck, and your commander pairing is a draw engine itself too. So I would say not quite as much as the Sauron deck do we always, in terms of like how often do we want to find the One Ring is like the card we're looking for. I'd say less often in this deck, and that is because the commanders give us a draw engine. It's not nearly as powerful as the One Ring, but it's at least something, right? And if
Yes,
we're
definitely.
if we're choosing things to either prioritize or not, I think going for a hand that can make good mana, the, I don't expect that you're going to have any trouble with colors. So I'd keep
Hmm.
an eye on that in terms of your draw, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. But actually, just like having enough to do what you have to do, knowing that we basically have two extra cards in our hand. Unlike, one of the huge advantages of a partner commander combo is that you get an extra card in your hand. Basically, you can think about it that way, because every other deck gets to start with their commander. Sure, that's like plus one card, but you have plus two cards, right? So you imagine you keep a 7 land hand and everyone does that. You've got two cards and everyone else has only got one. So that automatically can mean that you don't have to worry so much about keeping a hand with draw, because you could always rely, and it takes a little bit to get online, right? You have to get to 2 ring temps for that to happen.
Yep.
But that's easy, right?
Yeah.
You lay Frodo down on turn 2 and you play Sam on turn 3. That already gets you at ring level 1. And then
Hmm.
do you draw the following turn? No, I always forget how this works. When he
No,
attacks.
the way the trigger works is it's, and I may be completely wrong, but the way I've been told and been playing it is that on the once I attack with him the second time, the ring tempts me to put me in that level, but I'm not getting, at least from the ring, the draw one, discard one. I'm gonna get it from his trigger on the
Right,
card, but I'm not gonna
exactly.
get it from the actual ring itself.
That's exactly right. Do you know why?
Um, I don't know the reasoning. I just know that's how it works.
Okay. Well, I want you to see if you can figure it out, because it's not that hard. So I want you to look at the ring card real quick. So I'm going to scroll down to tokens. Where are our tokens? Did I miss it? Oh, here. Okay, so like let's look at the level 2 ability and just read it
Yeah.
out loud.
Yeah, whenever your ring bearer attacks, draw a card, then discard a card.
Okay, so
Um,
let's remember that, and now let's read Frodo real quick.
mhm.
Just a second part.
Then if Frodo is your ring bearer and the ring
We'll
has
start from
tempted
the
you,
beginning.
okay. When Frodo attacks, if you've gained 3 or more life this turn, the ring tempts you.
Yeah.
Then if Frodo is your ring bearer and the ring has tempted you 2 or more times this game, draw a card.
Okay. So what happens when Frodo attacks?
When Frodo attacks, then if I've gained more than 3 life this turn, the ring tempts me 1 stage.
Right. So let's say you're at level 1 of the ring, right? And
Hmm.
you attack with Frodo. That trigger happens to check blah blah blah, all that, and then the ring tempts you, if
Hmm.
so, which puts you level 2. But what does
Correct.
this say?
So what are you? You're not streaming. What are you
Oh, I'm not
highlighting?
sharing?
No.
Oh
I
man.
have the Moxfield page open on mine.
Okay, hold on a sec.
Excellent. There we go.
Okay. So what does this say again? When he attacks, you draw a card and then discard a card if you're level 2, right? But the
Correct.
thing
Yep.
is, if you have already attacked and again, like let's pretend we're level 1, right?
Hmm.
We're at level 1, and then
Hmm.
we go to attack with our ring bearer. So we're level
Correct.
1 when that happens, and it says, are you level 2? No, so I'm not going to draw then discard. And this doesn't make you level 2 until it does this check. So
Correct.
that's why you don't get it, because it's an attack trigger. So he has to be declared as an attacker when he's level 2. And in this
You get the
scenario, when you're
benefit.
level
Yeah.
1, you declare him as attacker, you get this thing because it, makes him level 2
Hmm.
afterwards, but he hasn't been declared as an attacker at that point. It actually works similarly to, you may have run into this situation before, but do you know the card Propaganda?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if someone has a propaganda and you have something that puts creatures into play that are tapped and attacking,
Hmm.
those effects get around propaganda, because those creatures basically enter attacking. They're not ever being declared as attackers. So, a card like Adeline, Resplendent Cathar, when you attack, it puts tapped and attacking creatures into play, and those don't trigger propaganda. but they would also not trigger any other attack triggers you had because they're not being declared as attackers. So it's like a semantics thing, but it matters quite a lot. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so that's why it doesn't work, because he's declared as an attacker. That's when it checks for level 2 of the ring, and he wasn't level 2 yet because this trigger hasn't resolved. Now, if when he was declared as an attacker, the ring tempts you immediately and it doesn't do this check, no, even then it wouldn't work, because it would have to both be triggers. So like if the ring, so, and sorry if I'm getting a little too in depth with this, but I think it's important to help you understand like some rule stuff. Um, if this level 2 ring ability said, whenever your ring bearer attacks, comma, if if your ring bearer is at level 2, then you draw a card, then discard a card, then it would
That's
work.
different. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't work that way. So like, I think you get it.
Yeah. Couple of questions as to some cards that I think that are really good, but
Hmm.
I don't see them. And I just want to pick your brain. One of them is
Yeah.
Veto, Thorn of the Dusk Rose.
Yep.
Um,
So I had Vito in the list. I do think he's really good, but you know, we have a few effects like this already, though whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. And then his second ability is really good in some decks, but not this one. So when
got
you
it.
think that he's really good, are you thinking it's for the first or second
It,
ability or both?
just the first ability, honestly.
Just the
Just
first.
the-
Okay, so it
yeah.
could be worth it. I chose to keep in instead. I had another effect in here like this, I think. Maybe I cut that one too. The 2 mana guy, Disa? Dina.
Yes,
Yeah,
Dina.
cut
Yep.
this one too. You know, I could be wrong, and it could be worth putting him back because we do have other ways to gain life. So it just means like cracking a bunch of foods means that we could win
Hmm.
just with that.
Correct. Yep.
Um, honestly, like I might have just made a mistake, and we should be playing him. In which
What about
case, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. No, no, no. And you might be completely right. I think I have the card, so whenever it's just trying it out and feeling the deck, I think it's one of the most important things, and just see, okay, what am I missing here or something. But no, that's fine. A couple of
Because
Aetherflux Reservoir.
but
Yeah,
hold on
go
real
ahead.
quick, because we have enduring tenacity, and so this does the same thing. It's just more
Exactly.
resilient. And then
Yes.
also you can find this with Enlightened Tutor, notably, because it's an enchantment creature.
Hmm.
So that's good to know and good to
Excellent.
remember. And then we've got the Sanguine Bond too, which again is
Yes.
like just a more a stickier version of this effect. So we've got
Absolutely.
2 effects that do it already. It might be worth having another one. I just am not sure what we would cut for it, but we could feel it out as we go through your mulligans.
Got it. Aetherflux Reservoir.
Yep.
And this, what's your thinking on maybe not including it, or just your thoughts on it?
So Aetherflux by itself is really good, but it gets a lot more potent as you add combo pieces like Sensei's Divining Top and Bolus the Citadel. But even without
Yeah.
those, I think it does make sense in the list. I had to make some cuts, and it's one that I decided to cut since we had a lot of ways to win a late game if we needed to. And Aetherflux is a little bit of a dangerous one because let's read it real quick. So tell me off the top of your head, what what are some things that could go wrong if, let's say you're just playing this without infinites, and like, you're hoping to cast a bunch of spells and gain life over to 50 and then shoot someone down, or at least hold someone's hostage to shoot them down.
Hmm.
What could go wrong in that situation? Like, what's the worst case scenario? You pay 50 life, you put yourself down to 10, let's say, and you shoot someone for lethal.
Yeah, and then they Teferi's protection out of it. I'm
Sure.
at 54. I'm at 54. Okay, it's a 1v1 situation, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna be an easy win. And I
Yep.
just threw away 50 life. That's one
Yep.
thing.
That's one thing.
Uh, if somehow they're able to counter, or even I'll pay the
Hmm.
50. Somehow they're able to counter it, or redirect the cast or the effect to someone else that's not intended. or even back to
Exactly.
myself or something.
Yes, yes. And is there a common card that does that, that is seen all the time, that was just removed
Um,
from the game changer list today?
yeah, deflecting SWAT. That's
Right.
crazy. Yep.
So,
Yep.
you know, now that doesn't mean that this card is bad, but there, and in terms of countering this, there are ways, like there are cards that counter activated or triggered abilities, and they're becoming a little bit more common. They're printing them more often. There's a new one from Spider-Man called Spider Sense, I think, that does it.
Hmm.
So I think you'll see those 1 out of 100 games, maybe. But deflecting SWAT, you'll see every time someone's playing red, especially
Yes.
now that it's not a game changer anymore. And that's scary because, like, that means if you were not over 100 life, you might just have lost because you paid 50 and then you're going to get shot for 50. So,
Yes.
pretty scary one. That being said, like, you don't even ever have to use the second ability. This might
Correct.
just be worth playing as a way to gain life by playing a bunch of cards. Probably not, though. I think if you wanted just a pure life gain card, you'd be better off with like the Soul Sisters. Do you know what those are?
Yes. Warden in
Yeah.
essence. Yeah.
Yes. And there's a green one too. I forget what it's called. Oh, Essence is the green one.
Yeah.
There's another white one, Soul's Attendant, and then there's a 2 mana white one that has pro black and pro red. So it's tough. Like this is a hard deck to build because it wants to do a lot of different things. So there are tons of good life game cards we could be playing, but we don't necessarily have a lot of life gain payoffs except for the ones you called out. So, asking these questions of like, should we consider running Aetherflux and Veto, I think they're very keen observations because otherwise our life gain doesn't do that much for us. So I think and that's not entirely true because we're playing a lot of life sinks like Dark Confidant, and it could be worth putting Bolus the Citadel back in here, for
You read
example.
my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe instead of Smothering Tithe, especially since like Bolus has said, if you think about like what the cards do, Smothering Tithe gives you mana, right? And Bolus the Citadel gives you mana in a way too by letting you play stuff for free. So I think that's actually a reasonable swap. So if you like Aetherflux and you want to play it, I think we could just make an adjustment right now. Cut Tithe, add Citadel, add Aetherflux, probably add Veto too at that point since he synergizes with the life gain. Do you want to go that route? We could just do it right now.
Yeah, and I think that's cool. Just two cards, just to pick your brain. One of them
Yeah.
is I'm gonna butcher the name, but it's Al Hamarit's Archive,
Mm-hmm.
which is whenever if you gain life, you gain twice that amount, and if you draw a card, you get another card.
Yeah. So this card's really good, really, really
Hmm.
like powerful. The problem is to me that it's an artifact, and we are playing a deck or colors that are well equipped to protect it, not with counter spells, but with stuff like Tameo Safekeeping.
Yep.
It's just a big investment that is begging for opponents to remove it because, like, if this, think about if an opponent plays this card, you can't just have it sit there or you will lose because it's just too good. Now, that is not a reason not to play it, of course, but it is a big investment. So I don't know. I like this card, and we're playing green, so we can ramp it out. Well, I like it. I'd say let's play it. Let's do all this stuff.
And then one cool, very cool, and I think it's pretty on theme, and it's the last one that I've thought about. It's just Boromir, Warden of the Tower, for his
Yeah,
indestructible. His just
yeah.
sacrifice him and an indestructible. I think he's cool. I think he fits in the theme. I just don't know how he fits to the whole the idea of the deck. The theme of it. But just
I
just
think
to your
he's
to get your
great.
idea.
I mean, like it's the perfect deck for him, right? It's like
Yeah.
these are the characters that interact with him. This is
Hmm.
the situation that he's being sacrificed for. So like I think it's sweet. I actually like thought about that when I was looking through stuff to add, and I don't think it was in my list, so I didn't add it because I thought maybe you didn't have it, and I didn't want to
Got it.
ask you again if you had it.
Yeah.
That was like literally the only reason I didn't add it. So I think it's cool that you're asking because I wanted to add it for all those reasons, and I think we should. All right, so let's
Excellent.
do that. And then do you like the idea of cutting tithe for the other pieces like I was
Yeah,
suggesting?
I
Okay.
think so. And the issue is with Tithe, even though I love Tithe and I love the counterpart, which is Ristic Study, the problem is that as soon as it gets down on the table, you just
Yeah.
have a huge bullseye in your face. And you can be extremely behind and say, you know what, I've missed so many land drops, whatever, X and Y. They don't care.
Yeah.
It's done. You're good.
Yeah.
I love the card, and I have the Secret Layers SpongeBob one with Mr. Krabs. I love it,
Oh, cool. That's
but
sick.
it's just a target on your head,
Yeah.
regardless if you're winning, losing, or whatever.
Well, to be clear, like all these cards we just added are like
Yeah,
exactly the same. And and if anything, Tithe is a lot easier to keep on board because it's an enchantment where artifacts like uh, enchantments are generally a lot safer than artifacts. At least I've found.
hmm
There's
yes,
lots of stuff that hits both, but there's more things that hit just artifacts.
excellent.
All
Yeah,
right, so let's get this out. And actually, like, this isn't a terrible cut either because we're playing green. So a card that just gives us mana like this is not quite as important because we're in the best color to make a lot of mana.
and I think we also have Jaheira in the main list.
Yep,
So with all the creatures, all the tokens, it's
yep,
just creatures, right? I'm sorry, tokens. So yeah, it's great to have more treasure tokens, but I think we do just get the same thing from Jaheira, most of it,
yeah,
honestly.
yep, I agree. All right, so now we have to make some cuts. So hold on, let's see. We're at 3 game changers. Okay. So I'm going to look at types and tags and see. And if there's anything that you think is cuttable, I think we cut maybe this camellia since like this is a good win con.
Yeah.
But we just added a couple win cons, so I don't know if we need this. So let's get rid of that unless you're opposed.
Nope. No issue. Not a big
Uh,
squirrel guy either.
we're going to keep Chatterfang though, because
Yeah,
Chatterfang is
absolutely.
really good. He's removal, and he also has some infinites associated with him. Um, So I think we could probably cut one of these two cards. I like Fona's Hunger for this deck because it's really easy to get the City's Blessing since we're making a bunch of tokens.
Yes.
But in general, I'd say Soul Shatter is just better. Forces them to sack their biggest creature. Do you have a preference toward one of these in particular?
I don't. I whichever. Honestly, Soul Shatter is great because
Yeah,
most of the time the most expensive creature for some decks is the commander, and it's
yeah,
just an easy way. Okay, I don't want your commander on board anymore. Just sack it.
yeah, exactly. All
Yeah,
right, let's cut Fona's Hunger for now then. You can always test out swapping those in or out.
exactly.
We could probably afford to cut one more removal piece, but is there anything else? Um, Deathrite Shaman is cuttable. How much mana sources do we have? We have a good number, a lot of ones. Let me sort by mana value. I guess Delny is cuttable too. How many things do we actually have that Delny works with? Cauldron Familiar, but that doesn't really matter. Esper doesn't work with because it's... No, it does work with Esper because it will trigger twice. It doesn't... There are some things that say like this only triggers once each turn,
Yep.
and like Caretaker's Talent, for example. This isn't a creature, but... Or let's look at the creature version. What is it called? Benny Brax. Yeah, this guy. So imagine this was a 2/2. Oh
Yeah.
no, this works too. Sorry. This one is, effects that are templated this way, where it says this ability triggers only once each turn.
Will not work
Trigger
with all of
Doubler
them.
will not work with that because
Got it.
it just cannot trigger more than once. But um, I don't, it works with Lotho, works with Lotus Cobra, works with Marionette Apprentice. Yes. I think Delny looks really good. Let's not cut
Yeah.
him.
I think
Works with
she's
like
interesting.
Mirkwood Bats. Really,
Yeah.
yeah, really good. Um, so what I'm thinking is Noxious Revival is an incredibly good card, but like, every card in the deck's already good. So we could also cut a land if you want to. You know,
What about Trouble in Pairs? That's a new card to me. Maybe I'm not seeing the value out of it.
Trouble in Pair is really good.
Okay. Yeah,
It triggers so much. So
got it.
the extra turn thing is like not irrelevant. Don't forget about it because it'll randomly like superhose someone, and then that's hilarious.
Hmm.
I think I have a game posted where that happened, and it felt amazing. But anyway, like it's mainly the second part, which is like triggering. You'd be shocked. It's like you'll draw 6 cards every turn cycle off this. It's
Excellent.
crazy.
Okay.
Um, so try it. You know, I do end up cutting it sometimes, especially in a deck like this where we're like actively looking for the ring and we have a draw engine on our commander. But do you own one of these yet?
I don't own one of those yet.
Okay, let's cut it then. But I would encourage you to try it in the future.
Got it.
All right. Anything else that you had questions on?
One last question from one of the cards. It's blind obedience when the extort keyword. I think this is something I can just Google real quick, but now that we're here,
Hmm.
what is extort? Oh, I see it. Whenever you cast a spell, you may pay black or white. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain that much life. Okay.
Yeah,
Excellent.
anytime that a card is not including reminder text in Moxfield, if you click on it, it will give you the Oracle
It says
text
it.
here. Yeah.
Excellent.
And that's really helpful for old cards too. Like, for example, if I had like a really old version of, I don't know, whatever, one of these cards, sometimes have you seen like the text on really old cards sometimes?
Yes,
It's
100%.
like
I own
crazy.
some of
Yeah,
them. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
look at
It's
this, you know,
yeah.
like read this compared to that. Actually, this one's
Exactly.
not that different, but you know, sometimes it's crazy. Uh, yeah, how different it can be. So always look at the Oracle text, which you can find by using Scryfall, or if you're in Moxfield, clicking on it will always give you the Oracle text here.
Excellent.
All right. Any other questions before we get into mulligans?
Nope. No other question for me.
Okay. Well, good. We're right on time. We have about an hour left, so let's get into it. Oh, I guess I wanted to just real quick pull up my game log. So you asked like, and I didn't really ever finish answering you about like what cards to be looking for or what your like plan should be right from the start. So let's just quickly wrap up that conversation. And I want to do that by, let's forget this because this is going to take a while to like look up what they all do. But let's just say that like if you're against decks that are looking to get on the ground fast and maybe be attacking or very combat oriented or playing a lot of creatures, it might be worth focusing on finding some removal because the you know of one of the weaknesses of this deck I'd say is like we're a little light on board wipes. We're only playing one right now, and especially with cutting the Vona's Hunger, any kind of go wide strategy can kind of get us a little bit. So I'd be on the lookout for decks that are likely to go wide. You know, something like Krenko Mob Boss is like a mono red goblins. They're just gonna make a ton of stuff and go completely horizontal and maybe even outrace your life gain. So against a deck like that, I'd say even more important to find the One Ring because that one turn of fog can be really helpful. And it might be worth considering holding on to it. Normally, I'd say advocate just like playing the One Ring as soon as you can because, in general, trying to time it and like save yourself some life, it's kind of like the rule of compound interest. They say, you know, regular investing pays off a lot more in the long run than even if you're able to time the market perfectly. You're still going to make more money if you just invest at regular intervals. So I feel the same way about the One Ring. Like you just want to slam it down as soon as you can, not worry about saving yourself some life because being able to draw an extra 5 cards on the fifth turn you have it out is going to save you that life
Crazy.
inherently
Yeah.
anyway, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
But that all being said, if you're playing against a deck like Perforos, God of the Forge, that's like, you know, is going to just be burning you like for tons and tons of damage, that's when it might be worth saying like, okay, I'm going to take this like good logic that I'm following most games and understand when I need to think about this a little bit. and potentially hold up mana to crack your food and that sort of thing. Like weird stuff that you wouldn't normally do can
Yep,
sometimes be really effective. Um,
absolutely.
or like looking for blind obedience can be really powerful against some decks. Uh, any deck that cares about treasure, making treasure, and winning with treasure, like Magda Brazen Outlaw is a good example. This is usually a like higher tier deck, like bracket 4 or CDH. But if you run into one at bracket 3, it's this is the kind of card that would be worth like potentially looking for in your mulligan because it really hoses them. But I'd say like, look for the ring. We don't have tons of ways to find it, so that's not always going to be like completely feasible that you just like hyper focus on finding the ring. But always be looking for some sort of draw engine. So even if it's not the ring, Bolus the Citadel works. Benny Brax is really good in this deck. Because it could potentially trigger on every turn, not just your turn. It's a little bit harder to trigger on others' turns, but you can find creative ways to do that sometimes. Um, Caretaker's Talent is like Benny Brax. Black Market Connections is always like a slam
Yeah.
dunk keep. Sylvan
Hmm.
Library, same thing. Dark Confidant is one of the best cards in the deck. Esper Sentinel. So I'd say look for these pieces. Mana you're gonna find. I wouldn't like. It depends. Sometimes you're gonna want a hand that can ramp, but like I think you'll. We've got 19 sources of mana, including the treasure makers. So I think you'll get there on that. But it's really like these pieces that are going to be more critical to your game plan. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Okay, cool. Let's do it. All right, so we're going to pretend we don't know what our position is in turn order and we don't know who we're up against, but this is our opening 7, and if you mulligan this, you're going down to a second 7 and then to a 6/5, etc. So tell me what your thoughts are on this hand.
Here, wait, I'm getting just Mox Amber. Okay.
Yeah. Do you need me to zoom
Here,
this in, or is this good?
no, excellent. I have it on
Okay.
the other on my other monitor where I'm just making sure I'm reading the cards right.
Okay.
Um, here's the thing that I think Lotho as a turn 2 is a great
Mm-hmm.
card.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at the rest of the hand and I don't see that much. Beast the mirror card is not going to come into play until way after, maybe depending on how many treasure tokens I get from Lotho.
Yep.
But maybe a turn, because Mox Amber works. I have to have a legendary creature out on the board,
Yep.
so to even do anything.
Yep.
So maybe I don't know. This is where I'm thinking maybe it's worth keeping for a turn 2 Lotho, or maybe we can find something better. That's where I'm stuck at right now.
So I want you to slow down a little. Do we have a turn 2 Lotho? Because I don't see it.
And what does Plaza of Hero dings us for 1
Plaza
for any
helps.
color?
No, it can make colorless or mana for casting a legendary, so it can make any color.
Correct.
But do you know
But
what
there's no.
Phyrexian Tower does?
It's just a white. It doesn't say, yeah. So we definitely can't. It's not going to help us in
It's
any
not
way.
white. It makes
It's a
colorless.
colorless. Yeah.
Yeah, and we can't use Mox Amber to help cast Lotho because we have to have a legendary in play. So we could play. No, we can't even play Frodo
No.
because he costs the
Yeah.
same as Lotho. So yeah,
Mhm.
if this land could make black or white, I'd say this hand is a keep for sure because turn 2 Lotho is incredible, and then we have turn 3 Beseech the Mirror because we'd have to sacrifice. We'd have to. Do you know what this card does?
No, I
Okay.
haven't used that one yet.
Okay, so first of all, I want you to, before you answer, make sure you know what everything does because I don't want you making like an
Yeah.
uninformed decision. So
Mhm.
bargain requires you to sacrifice a token, enchantment, or I don't
Artifact.
remember. Is it? You found it?
Yes, I have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. We could bargain it with Mox Amber. So yeah, this hand looks amazing if we go Lotho here. We probably don't get any treasure off Lotho on turn 2. It's
Mhm.
possible, but unlikely. But even without it, we would have to draw land sometime in 3 turns, which I think is doable. But then we have 4 mana, including black. even if we don't draw land, actually, we could sack Lotho to Phyrexian Tower to make double black. Well, we have to tap the Amber first for black, right? Then we sack Lotho to the tower for double black.
And then
And
tap the
then
plaza for a colorless.
then the Plaza. Then we can cast the Beseech, sacking Mox Amber. So hefty cost to do,
Yeah.
but this gets us the One Ring directly in play because it tutors any card you want, and if you bargained it and the mana value is 4 or less, you get to cast it for free. So you even get to cast it. Now, I think the ring requires you to cast it from hand, so you won't get the protection, but
Exactly.
that doesn't matter at all
a
here.
A turn two ring that I can immediately start tapping it. Yeah, it'd be crazy.
Yeah. So what I want you to take away from this is like, make sure you are watching your mana carefully, but you assumed that you could play the Lotho and you weren't sure about this hand. I think this hand looks incredible. So I think if you didn't know what this did, but any hand that allows you to potentially get a turn 3 ring is like, that's a banger.
Nuts. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to second 7 here.
Okay. Is that reanimate on next to Arid Mesa? Yeah,
Yes.
it is. Okay. Okay. So I know what all these cards do, and I do see a black market connections. The issue is that, and it might not be an issue because we have a lot of ramp, but I don't know if this hand is a little bit. I want to keep
issue.
it.
Don't be doing this. This is our, like, this hand's. Don't ever. Always assume the worst case scenario. I mean, like, you can't always. If you're going down to 5 or 4, like, then maybe you have to take a little bit of a gamble, right? But like, this deck's really good. You're gonna go to 6 every day, like, easy, versus ever even thinking about. I wanted you just to be like slam dunks Mulligan. Like, don't even think about it. This is not never a keep. Now, the thing you didn't say is that we get one look at an extra card with a surveil land, but because we have a fetch here, but still, like, not worth it.
Yep.
All right, here's our 6.
Yeah, I think this is. I can't keep
a lot
this
of
hand.
removal.
Yeah, and a lot of lands, but I'm not getting anything. There's no play until turn 2 where I can bring out Frodo.
Right, and I mean, like, so
maybe
this is our 6, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to 5 if we toss this. So I think I would keep this hand. It depends who you're up against, I think, a little bit. If you're against a bunch of blue decks that are like unlikely to be playing creatures that you want to deal with anyway, then I think you probably toss this. But the nice thing about this deck is we have a plan, like, regardless of what's in our hand, right? This is not a bad plan, just going 2, 3. Because it sets up a draw engine, it's making us food, like, this is kind of what you're going to want to do a lot of games, even if you don't have what you, like, ideally want, right? Don't forget, this is not the bracket 4 version where we're looking for just some, like, super explosive power hand. A lot of times a hand like this is going to get there just fine, especially since even if we don't want to go this route, let's say opponents are, like, off to a fast start, we could just go with a turn 3 deluge, and then, like, we're kind of on the front foot while everyone else is reeling. So I like keeping this probably in most situations, unless, like I said, you're against a bunch of decks that are unlikely to be playing any creatures on the board. And again, this is relative to going to 5, like, versus going to 5. I wouldn't keep this at any higher number. Does that make sense? Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Now that I've said it?
Yeah, it does.
Because I don't think this is a bad plan, right? Like, this still works. And, like, you actually want, I think most games, as much as I said, and we talked about, like, finding the ring as fast as possible, I still think most games, this is the start you want, because you're going to start with the ring tempting you. And, like, as soon as you get this draw engine going, the better. because it becomes harder to do later in the game. Even though Frodo has pretty good evasion, it still helps if you get in that like early attack when it's
Hmm.
easy. Let's just start with a new 7. All right, so this is a first 7.
Okay. Let me see.
This land like can make any of the colors we can currently make. It's like exotic orchard for our lands.
Okay. That but when that text when it says you could produce, if I slant when it checks you could produce, does it check your
Mm,
commander colors? Because that's
no,
or does it check
well,
the lands that you currently have on the field?
it would only check your commander colors if you had command tower.
Got
It
it.
only checks the
Okay.
lands. So
Excellent.
right now you can only make white black because you have scrubland only.
Got it. I mean, I don't think this is a bad hand. You know, I think we play the land. We
Mm-hmm.
play one of the lands. It really doesn't I think we play the one on the left. I think that's a scrub land or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It
um
is
we
white black duel.
yeah. We play that land. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cycle comes around, we'll slam Reflecting Pool turn 2
Mm-hmm.
and
Now
play
we have 2
Frodo.
white black lands. Yep.
Yep. Play Frodo on turn 2.
Mm-hmm.
Um Turn 3, I'm sure that we're going to draw a land.
See, this is what
Fingers crossed.
I don't like. Like,
Okay.
this is our first 7. Um, I don't want to be falling back on the hope something goes right when we're keeping our opening 7. This hand's not even. I mean, this is a good hand. It's got some good pieces. Like Soldier is
Okay.
very strong. Assassin Trophy is like the best targeted removal we have, but I just feel like we could do better. If you draw only 3 drops after this, which could happen, again, I like to default to like what's the worst case scenario with this hand, and let's assume that's going to happen instead of assuming that we'll probably draw land in 3 turns, because it's those times where you don't that you're like, oh man, why did I keep this hand?
Okay.
Have a
You're right.
have a plan at least to get to your 3s. And this, as an opening 7, we can see a better hand than this. Like we have tons of ramp. We didn't. Maybe we should spend a little more time like looking at what the deck is looking for on early game. So like I'm gonna group by mana value here. These are the cards, not Deadly Relic, but like Petal, Amber, maybe Opal, but that might not be online that early. So really like skip over these cards and like Birds, not Cauldron Familiar, that's a combo piece. Dark Ritual, Deathrite Shaman, this is Mana Dork. Halfling, Enlightened Tutor, Esper. These are the cards you want to see. These 1-drops, Soul Ring, Springleaf Drum, Wild Growth.
Okay.
That's what I'd be
Absolutely.
looking
Yeah.
for. And then like the draw engines that I mentioned. So, don't keep a hand like that that's relying on you drawing a certain thing unless you're at 6 or 5.
Okay.
All right.
Absolutely. Yeah. That makes way more sense. Yep.
Here's our second 7.
Again, this isn't just looking at our list and the conversation we just had. This doesn't
Yeah.
help me in any way.
Yeah.
I'm
So you're going to 6?
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. You know, the the one nice thing is like Caretaker Silence a draw engine once we get Sam out, because then we're
Hmm.
making a token every turn. So Sam's drawing
Hmm.
us a card. So this, you know, this hand's not that bad actually, because like we go 2, 3, 4, right? So we have a
Yep.
plan, and it's not a bad plan either. I actually like think it's 50-50 whether you keep this, but I would probably mulligan it also. But
Okay.
I want you to know that like this one's pretty close, I think, because the Caretaker's talent's really good, actually.
Got it.
All right, let's go to 6th though.
Okay. Um. Let me see one of the cards real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Um. I'm not. Here. Okay. whether I would want to keep this, I think that we can just out of just a quick thing. I think that I think we can do better. Maybe a
At
turn
5?
one.
It's this or go to 5. I'm not trying to sway you. I'm just
Yeah.
making sure you understand.
No, no, and I do. But what I'm looking at is turn one. I play land Oscillate Pride. Okay,
Uh-huh.
that's one cool thing. I'm not going to be able to use any of its abilities right now, because it
Yeah,
can't
you are.
swing.
Oh
As
yeah. Well, next turn. Yeah.
Yeah, once I
Yeah.
swing next turn with it. So okay, so hypothetically, I'm just thinking the scenario, the future scenario. Okay, turn one, I'll play Oscillate Pride. Turn two, um, I can probably get Frodo out as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
What else could you do aside from this plan you're describing?
maybe turn one and Lightning Tutor into the One Ring.
Okay, but do we have do we have here's the problem with Enlightened Tutor that I didn't talk about when I was mentioning it earlier. Everyone will see what you get because
Revealing it. Yep.
you have to reveal it because it's searching for something specific. So tutoring for the One Ring on turn 1 is risky, very risky, because it gives everyone an opportunity to prepare for it, to
Yeah.
either hold up removal or or I mean, hold up a counterspell or find removal that works for it. So be careful about that. I'm not saying it's wrong, but like we don't have a way to play it next turn. So like I wouldn't tutor for it until you're ready to drop it, basically. Like the best time to tutor for it is right before your turn where you're going to play it. So no one has a chance to do anything because it's an instant.
Yes.
So I think Enlightened Tutor might be the right play here. But if we do, it would be to find either a less expensive draw engine or some sort of like ramp. Like we could find Soul Ring with it. That's going to be a, I'm not going to say frequent, but that's going to be a not uncommon play, is for you to just Enlighten Tutor for Soul Ring. Example, like, we could even Noxious Revival the tutor back on top to draw it again, right? And you can cast this for, do you know how Phyrexian mana works?
You pay life.
You can pay life. So this costs either green or 2 life. So
Got
you
it.
can cast it for free. So I'm not suggesting this is the right play, but in theory, we could go, let's pretend we fetch a white green land or something. We go Enlightened Tutor for Soul Ring.
Mm-hmm.
It goes on top. This goes to the graveyard. We draw Soul Ring. Now it's our next turn. We cast Soul Ring. And then we could cast something else, like, Chatterfang or Confectioner.
Correct.
I
Then
guess
pay.
Yes, then pay life rate before. We're not going to have enough mana. We're going to be one short. Like to Enlighten Tutor for the ring, draw it.
Correct.
Yeah. But like Enlighten Tutor is really flexible. So just be really, what I would encourage you to do, especially when you're learning the deck, is go to your deck list and just sort by. How do I get back? Just sort by type.
Mm-hmm.
When you have an Enlightened Tutor, and just not type syntax, type. And then just look through your options here. Sylvan
Excellent.
Library is probably the card to get here. I didn't think of it, but this is the perfect card to get right now because we don't have a lot of mana and we could just play that on turn 2 and it sets us up
Yes.
really well going forward.
Absolutely.
Now, that being said, I think the Ocelot Pride into Frodo plan is pretty good too. Ocelot Pride is a disgustingly powerful card. I don't know if you've played with or against this ever yet, but it is gross. It can win a game by itself, basically. Like, once you get, do you know what Ascend means?
I do not.
Okay, Ascend is the city's blessing. Do you know what that is?
Is it? No, I don't know. I know the Monarch, but I don't know the city's blessing.
That's okay. It's really easy. Ascend / the city's blessing just means if you have 10 or more permanents ever. So
Okay.
when a card with Ascend is on it has to be on the battlefield. You don't just get the City's Blessing automatically. But if this is in play, and then you have, at any point, you have 10 permanents, you get the City's Blessing. It's just a thing, like a emblem almost, and it never
Hmm.
goes away. So it doesn't matter if you lose
Okay,
every single permanent you have after that, you have the City's Blessing forever for the rest of the game. So
got it.
then the Ocelot Pride just makes a 1/1 every time it hits, and it's a 1/1 first strike lifelink, so it's really easy to get through with it because a 1/1 first strike is actually pretty hard to deal with for the first couple of turns. A lot of times people will have a 1/1, but they can't block with that, at least not effectively. So at first you're just making 1/1 cats, but then once it's online, you're making a copy of every token you made that turn. So any treasures, food, cats,
At the
whatever.
beginning of your when does the city's blessing check? Is it at the end of at your end step
The
or as
city's
soon as you
blessing checks instantly. It's a state-based thing. So as soon as you have 10, boom, you have the city's blessing. It's not even a trigger. It's just like instant. This thing triggers at the beginning of your end step though. So if you've gained life that turn, you make a 1/1 cat, and then if you have the city's blessing, which you would have already gotten earlier if you got to 10. So as soon as you make the 1/1 cat, if that puts you from 9 to 10 permanents, then you instantly have the city's blessing, and then you'll get the extra effect. Make sense?
yes. Yeah.
So this card in particular with Chatterfang is
It's crazy.
busted, and you have Experimental Confectioner. So this 3-card combo is like, ooh, like really scary. This could just win you the game, these 3 cards together. So I think finding Sylvan Library here and then having Noxious Revival to get back our best card at any point. So if one of these pieces dies, or if we just want to get the E-Tutor back, and you could even use it on your fetch land, Noxious Revival, just to like get another land. It eats up your draw, but this is almost like a tutor. It's like a tutor from your graveyard to the top of your library. So that's how I would think about it. And if you're in an arch enemy situation where it's you three versus the big bad, you can help an opponent get a board wipe back or whatever. This can target any card and put it on top of their owner's library. You could even, if an opponent just vampiric tutored to find a card that is about to lose you all the game, you can even Noxious Revival something else on top of that so they don't draw their card they tutored for.
Excellent.
Pretty funny, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right. So long story short, I think this hand's actually really good. But it's hard to know that, like just looking at it, because this is a tough deck. There's a lot of things, and you'll learn the ropes the more you play with the Enlightened Tutor. But as much as I'd love to go for the ring here, I just don't see any like good path to it. Now that being said, like let's actually play it out because this was our 6, so we do have to put one of these on the bottom. So which would you put on the bottom if you kept the 6? If you don't know, that's okay, because like
I
I
think
know
they're all
there's a
great.
lot.
That's the
Yeah.
that's the issue. I can tell you what I won't put at the bottom, and
Okay.
I think that'll just be easier for me. I think
Sure.
I'm not putting Noxious Revival away. I'm not putting the lands. I'm not putting Noxious Revival away. I'm not putting Enlightened Tutor away.
Okay.
Um, Turn 1 Oscillate Pride. I think I'm not putting that away. Knowing that I'm gonna maybe be generating so much food,
Mm-hmm.
just with Frodo, with Sam, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that would just lead me to, for example, sack Confectioneer. And the other issue is that Confectioneer, when he enters, he makes me a food token. That's great. I'm gonna get a food token every single time I'm in combat
Yeah.
with Sam. And
Yeah.
the other issue is I have to sack. I don't have any reason right now
Yeah.
with this hand to start sacking foods, to
Yeah.
make a 1/1 rat. So
Yeah.
that's just
Great.
my
You're right.
reasoning.
I think you're right. I agree with this logic. The only thing I'd encourage you to do is think about the functions of these cards. And if you don't necessarily know off the top of your head, you can always just like look at them in the list, right? Just find
Mhm.
Chatterfang and be like, okay, what does he do? He's removal. He makes tokens. What does the confectioner do? It's just tokens, right? So that being said, do we have any removal in this hand otherwise?
No, we don't have any removal.
Right. So that means to me, Chatterfang is more valuable if you've gotten down to this point. So I think your logic works, but one thing I didn't hear you say was Chatterfang is really good removal. And I think that Chatterfang's one of the best cards in the deck too. So like that's just an easy decision, I think,
Yeah.
eventually, once you're more used to what everything does. But yeah, I think you got to the right answer regardless. Okay, so let's keep it. We draw Beseech. Interesting. All right, what do now?
I think play the land
Mhm.
as the mire, because reflecting pool's not going to do anything for us.
Right.
Then I'd honestly just play the pride, oscillate
Okay.
pride.
Okay.
Keep the tutor in hand. You know, I think it's great, but I don't think I need to tutor for anything right now immediately. Maybe see how the board plays off a little bit more, how
And
everyone's
what are we doing
reacting.
next turn?
Next turn after playing
We draw.
Frodo. Sorry,
Or,
after we draw.
oh yeah, we're playing Frodo. Is that what you were playing?
So turn one, I'm gonna play the pride. Turn
Yeah.
two, get the reflecting pool in, bring out Frodo.
So I think that plan is probably fine, but I'm I personally I would go for Enlightened Tutor Sylvan Library here. I think
Okay.
that is going to yield more like stronger openings, especially since we really need to draw another land. And we now have drawn this path to the One Ring, right? This card gets us to
Mhm.
the One Ring as soon as we have the mana for it, but we're in a weird situation, right? Because like, what land do you get with this? Because all you can get, is a black fetch.
Correct.
All you can fetch is a swamp. So, are you getting swamp plains or well, you wanted to play the Ocelot Pride, so you're getting swamp plains, right? And
Yep.
then we're locked into another land that makes black white.
Correct. No green.
We should probably cut this for something else, but I don't know. Reflecting Pool is actually usually really good. It's just we're getting these weird draws with it that are it's a couple times now. I think setting up for a turn two Sylvan just makes more sense here because we just want to draw like 3 land, you know. So if we could just like blast through the top 3 of our cards. Do you know what Sylvan Library does? Like, are you like very
No,
familiar with it?
I haven't used it, so that's why I have to
Okay.
get so I have to sit down with these cards now that the whole deck list is done. I'm gonna sit down and
Okay.
go understand it because
Well, let me just tell you what Sylvan Library does, or how you should remember what it does. It's
okay,
2 mana enchantment. Instead of 1 a turn, you draw 3 a turn,
okay,
but it costs you 4 life for each card beyond the first that you want to keep. So if you want to keep all 3 that you drew, you pay 8 life. If you want to put one of them back, you pay 4 life. If you want to put 2 of them back and keep only one, you pay 0 life. So what you
okay.
do with it is you just pay 8 life like 3 turns in a row. I'm not exaggerating. This is how you play Sylvan Library.
Hmm.
It's a 2 mana, pay 16 life, draw 9.
Excellent.
That's basically what you do with it. And normally that's very dangerous, but thankfully you're playing a life gain deck, so it's even better. So let's go to a new
Excellent.
hand. Heh, 0 lander.
Yep.
You
The
know, we can play Deathrite Shaman.
yeah,
Do
we
you know what
can. Yeah.
Deathrite Shaman does?
Yes. But
Okay.
when the problem is first
Yeah.
for the first step, someone's gonna have to have like a fetch
Yeah.
land, sack so then I can even target
Yeah.
it.
Not
Yeah, and then I don't
no.
know if I want to waste Agadeem's on that. I don't know if I'm that desperate, you know.
Yeah. You'd have to be a hardcore gambler to keep this in.
Yeah.
It's not even that good. Like, I guess it's fine. I don't know. It's not that great.
Okay. I think this is. Let me before I even get it anywhere. Let me.
Hmm.
Thing is, we have one of our mana dorks, Birds of Paradise, but I'm looking at we don't have a way to find Sylvan Library We don't have a way to generate more mana. You know, so may okay. Let me see.
Hmm. Yeah, take your time. Like play out the turns. Like we can, we should feel free to use me as a controller. So like we can put stuff on the board and feel it out. I think Deathrite Shaman scales with the power level of your game. Because if you're against a bunch of plebs, then they're not going to have as many fetch lands, and Deathrite Shaman's going to be a lot worse on average, and we should probably just cut it for a different mana dork. However, the upside of Deathrite Shaman, since the downside is that it screws us sometimes as not being a mana dork when we want it to be, but those abilities to exile stuff at instant speed
They're crazy.
really, really wreck people, right?
Yeah.
Because if this is in play, no one can cast a reanimate ever safely, right?
Yep.
Because if they target something to reanimate, you're like, snipe it, and then they scoop and run away. Because that feels really bad.
Turn 1 command tower into Birds of Paradise, tapping Birds of Paradise for Deathrite Shaman. I think that
summoning sick.
Oh, you can't. Oh, yeah. So you can't.
No, you can't.
Oh.
But this is still this hand's really good. Like, don't overthink it. Like this hand, we got, it's not, well, it's not quite perfect, because if this was a different one mana dork, then we know we have a turn 3 ring.
Exactly. Yep.
But as it stands, we're it's not quite there, right? We go, let's just play it out, because this is definitely a keep. I wouldn't ever advise you to throw this hand away. This hand looks amazing, because even if they counter your Beseech or counter the ring, we have follow up with Citadel. And we've got a different plan, which is just play our commanders. We have a turn 1 mana dork into Sam, which is an option. Not what you would normally want to do, but it's a thing you could do. I don't think you should. I still think you start, because we go 2/2, and then this turn we go Frodo, Deathrite Shaman.
Yep.
This is our turn 2, This is really good. And then we have to draw another land at some point, or someone has to fetch. Correct. But in either of those scenarios, boom, we have the 1 ring. And then our land troubles are over.
Got it. Yes, you're right. Yep.
Any hand that has a potential, here's what I want you to remember. If the hand has a potential for a turn 3 1 ring, that hand's a slam dunk keep.
Okay.
And this has high potential for that, right? We have 2 ways to get there. One is that anyone plays a fetch land, then this becomes a mana dork and we get there. And then the other way is that actually we have to be able to sacrifice a token, artifact, or enchantment. Never mind, we don't have one of those things to sacrifice, right? Until we play Sam. But still, we're going to get the 1 ring out pretty quickly, right? Because we just have to play Sam, make a food. So I think instead of what I said, we go, let's play it out. So we draw. Okay, so I want you to take over now. I've told you enough.
Draw. We're still in turn 1, correct?
Yes, this is turn 1.
Got it. Played our command tower, tap command tower. I think we bring out Birds of Paradise.
Yep. All right, next turn.
Next turn. Play the command tower can generate us any color. I don't know. I don't really think mana confluence. I don't think the land really matters at this time, but just to be safe, I'll play the mana confluence to generate any color.
I don't think you need to do that, because the potential for us needing triple black, we still get there, right? Because you've got black, and then if the birds dies, we're short on black anyway. So I don't think you need to play the confluence. I think it's a good thought to be safe, but think through it and be deliberate about it. Don't, sometimes you'll have to rely on a gut feeling because you don't have enough time, or you just, you want to just play and have fun. And then by all means, go for it. But if you've got a little time, think about it. And I think we don't need the black this turn, so let's save ourselves a life. So let's play the forest,
Sure.
and then what? Now I want you to slow down and think about like what do you want to do next turn, and how do you get there?
I mean, next turn I want to play it Beseech the Mirror.
Okay.
I think
So
that's definitely the play.
what do we need in order to be able to do that? Because do we remember what bargain does?
We
Or
have
the
to
requirements?
sacrifice, yeah, an artifact, creature, or enchantment.
No, that's wrong. It's artifact, token, or enchantment.
Got it. Not
So
creature.
careful, yeah, because and yeah. So that being now that you know that, what would you do here?
I mean, we have to tap the forest to bring out the Springleaf Drum, turn 2.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that way we have a sack outlet next turn for the mirror.
That's the only
So
way.
no. Or
Okay.
can we also tap? We have 3 open mana right now that we can use. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm
Yes.
thinking about tapping. Let me see.
So we've determined we want to play Beseech next turn. I think that's fair to say. So
Correct.
what are the requirements for us to cast Beseech? We need
3
access
black.
to 2 things. Yep. 3 black is one. And then the other
Correct.
thing is the bargain piece, which is what again?
We have to sacrifice artifact, enchantment, or a token.
Okay. So I see 3 ways that we could do that. What are those ways?
One way is using Springleaf Drum for the 1,
Okay.
so that way we get the artifact out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Or bringing out a Sam, Loyal Attendant,
Yep.
going to combat, generating a food token,
Yep.
and I
One
don't
other
see the
way.
third.
This is an artifact, but we can't cast it, right?
Correct. Yeah,
We could cast this.
correct.
What does that do?
Yeah, we can pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, and create a treasure token to
Yep.
then sack the token
Yep.
towards the cost.
Yep. So those are our 3 paths to Beseech. Now,
Hmm.
which is the best?
I don't want to throw away Springleaf Drum just to beseech the mirror when
Mm-hmm.
I can get more value it later on.
Okay.
And we're going to be generating so much food, so I'd say the Sam route is just the most cost effective.
Definitely.
And
Right? We
yeah,
want to play Sam. Like
yeah,
that's what we're doing. So
hmm,
if the fact that we could play him and have that naturally lead into the play we want to make, like easy, right? Easy
right,
decision. Good call. Let's go a new 7. All right, this is white black shockland.
yeah. I I don't see, apart from the two. Yeah, awesome. Turn 1 tutor. There's just no mana to do
Yeah.
anything in the following lands whatsoever.
You know, it's possible we should. I didn't put land tax in here because I valued playing all of the non basics. Do you know what land tax is?
No, but I did see it
Land,
on the list.
yeah, land tax 1 mana enchantment that at the beginning of your upkeep, if any player has more lands than you get to search for 3 basics and put them into your hand every turn.
Got it.
One of the most broken cards in the game. I don't know why it's not more expensive or on the game changers list, but it's not. The problem is you have to run a bunch of basics, and basics are poop.
Hmm.
But some people like basics, I guess. I love basics, but I don't love playing them, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
Anyway, it's possible we should, any deck with Enlightened Tutor, I like to strongly consider land tax because it makes this hand from unplayable into great, because now we Enlightened Tutor for land tax, play it.
And
The only problem,
save the entire hit.
the only problem is like it costs us 1 to Enlightened Tutor, and then we can't play it till next turn, and then it doesn't trigger until the following turn. So it's a little slow. And if we don't draw a land between now and next turn, we're going to miss 1 land drop. But then after that, we're never missing land drops again because we get 3 basics every turn.
Hmm.
And the other cool thing about it is you can thin all the basics out of your deck. So you end up drawing a bunch of basics and then just discarding them to hand size. But then your deck's full of gas because
Correct.
you've like thinned all the lands out.
Yeah, you've
Anyway,
emptied it out.
that being said, like this hand I think doesn't quite get there. We could like it's worth looking at like what options we have with the Enlightened Tutor. Like we could get, you know, Lotus Petal. I well, like the funny thing about this hand is like if we got lucky, we could just win on turn 2 with this hand because we have the Walking Ballista and we have Enlightened Tutor. We could find like Heliod and just
Yeah.
like potentially just win. But I think this hand's not good. So,
Yeah.
unless you're like wanting to really just troll someone and like,
Yeah. Basically.
and that someone potentially be yourself. All right, how about this guy? Do you know what this card does? It's like Jaheira. Makes your foods tap for green. And then the
Excellent.
second effect actually can come up, so don't forget about it. But doesn't matter until very late game.
And ETB creates a food token. Okay.
Yes. So it's like a mana rock because it automatically makes you one food that can immediately tap for green. But it's
Correct.
4 mana. So not helping us early, but a really good card in the stack regardless. This is our second 7 or first
We restart. It's the second 7 because the last
second
one we
7?
couldn't keep. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, I think this is a if the goal if we want to bring out Frodo and Sam as
Mhm.
a backup strategy, I think this is a great hand. We'll
Mhm.
do Exotic Orchard. I don't think it's worth taking out the Mox the artifact the Amber
Mhm.
because someone might just get trigger happy and just you say like remove it for some dumb reason.
So
So I would
let me give you the
yeah.
benefit of my experience from this. I think you should play the Amber immediately because more often it could go either way. But more often I'd say in my experience at least, and it's anecdotal definitely, but I have a lot of games. And I
Mhm.
think more often you'll get punished by Rhystic Study or Mystic Remora than you will from like a stray Vandal Blast or from someone just being like, I destroy your Mox Amber. More often you'll wish you had played it because they play some tax and you're like, fuck.
Excellent. Okay. So yeah,
But that's
I mean
just my experience. So you could like feel it out if you're feeling either lucky or not lucky that particular game. But I think you could justify either way.
I think this hand really relies on the board state and see how fast people are going.
Yeah.
If maybe if I'm third or fourth or something, maybe
Hmm.
it's not because I don't know
Yeah.
how fast everyone's gonna go.
That's a
And if
great
I'm
that's a great observation. Like we haven't talked about that much, but like this is the kind of hand I might keep if I were going first.
Mhm,
But it looks pretty like you're right. Like this hand's okay. Like it does this plan pretty
mhm,
well because we have Mox Amber, and
correct.
then Night gets us to like more mana. This hand's got a lot of mana. It's got like premium removal, and then it can recur something. We don't have
Mhm,
anything that good to recur yet. I think like going to 6 is better than this usually. But if you're playing against people you know are not as strong, this is definitely the kind of hand I would keep because it does
yeah,
stuff and it's like more definitely more tailored to having a fun game than having a powerful start. But
absolutely.
if you're like just playing to win and like this is a like you're just trying to like play 100% optimally, I think this is definitely a mulligan.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right on
All
this
right,
one.
so let's go to 6. Oh,
I think this is a really
painful.
good. I think this is a really good hand.
Oh yeah.
Um,
If
I'm if we get more lands, I think this is a great hand. Turn one Mox Amber. I'm praying
yeah,
that I get another thing, another land.
yeah.
Um, for maybe a Dark Confident turn two.
Uh, like, see, I would never keep this,
Okay.
but like I consider myself supremely unlucky when it comes to things like this. So I
Okay.
just again I always just assume the worst is going to happen because I would just rather play that way. Like it's safer.
Yeah.
But this hand certainly pays off. This is a like insane hand. Like this combo is like
Yeah,
incredibly
it's crazy.
gross. Um, I don't know if you know how this works together. Do you?
I do know. Yes, it's crazy. Let me. I actually have it next to me. Let me pull it up.
Well, yeah, like don't worry about that. Let me just like I'm not going to explain the whole thing to you because it's a little confusing, but the important thing to know is that when you have two replacement effects, these are both replacement effects, right?
Mhm.
The manufacturer says if you would create one of these things, instead you make all three. And then parent
Correct.
says if you would create one, instead you make two. So when
Correct.
you're the active player and you have two replacement effects that are competing like this, you always get to choose the order in which they apply. They will always both apply, and you get to choose the order. So if you choose to make the Academy manufacturer apply first, and you would make a food, then instead you'll make three, just like it says. And then Perrin or Peregrine will say, okay, you made a token, instead make a food also. So for one, each of these one that you just made, he makes a food also. So then you would end up with clue, food, treasure, plus food, food, food. Now, if you
It's,
reverse the
it's
order, now you say Perrin goes first, or I keep saying Perrin, Peregrine goes first. He says, all right, you're making a food. I'm going to make you another food. So now you have two foods you would be making. But then Academy Man says, oh, you're making a food. I'll make you all three. And then for the other one, you're making a food. I'll make you all three. So you end up with two of each. So either way, you end up with six pieces of something. In this case, you get two of each in this order. And in this order, you get four food, a clue, and a treasure. So whichever
yeah,
you
I think
want.
but wouldn't you want to do the Peregrine took first and then Academy manufacturers? Because then you're going to be getting infinite treasure tokens.
No,
Well,
it's not.
vice
It's not infinite. So the way it works is, so you said Peregrine took first.
correct.
Okay, so I'm making a food, right? So
Yeah.
let's say I'm going to make a food. I apply Peregrine took first. So what
Hmm.
happens? It says if you would make one or more, you instead make two. So now I
Correct.
made two, right? Now I apply the manufacturer. So for each of these, he says, oh, you're making two foods. Instead, you're going to make a clue, food, and treasure for each one. So
Correct.
then I would end up with six total. And that's it. The Peregrine won't see the ones that
The
the
other,
manufacturer made.
but here's the thing: Peregrine himself doesn't make they on them they're entering. They don't make any tokens, so I would have to have something that generates a token, a food token, or
Oh,
whatever.
gee, do you have any ways to do that in
Yeah,
your...
yeah. But I would need Sam. Yeah, I would need Sam out to
Yeah.
first make the food token. To then
Oh,
have this
hold
engine
on.
engage.
I'm not trying to like say anything about the quality of this hand. This hand's a mulligan. Like, unless you're a gambler, like, I don't keep a hand like this because, like,
Okay.
it's just too punishing. Yes, the payoff is big, but what is this? Is this our six? So we're going to five if we don't keep this, or is this our
Mhm.
second seven?
This is our second seven, I believe.
Well, then, yeah, I think like in yeah, in good faith, I cannot recommend that you would keep this hand, but I think that a lot of people would. Now, the question is, let's say we don't draw our second land on turn two. Like, how bad is it? And I think the answer is not that bad because this hand is so good that we could afford to miss one land drop. But if we missed two land drops, it's at that point that you're like possibly out of the game.
You're right.
So is that worth it versus going to six? Like, it's up to you. I can't tell
Yeah,
you
yeah.
like,
It depends on the pod, If it's complete strangers, then yeah, maybe not. If it's friends and we're all just chilling and just having
yeah,
fun, then
yeah.
yeah, whatever, cool. You got me out of this game. It doesn't matter,
All
not a big
right.
deal.
So you want to
But
try it? Let's roll the dice. Let's see what happens.
cool. So we'll play Aaron Mesa,
Well, we
crack
get
it
to draw.
for yeah.
What are we drawing? A land, right? Easy, easy.
Oh, easy
See,
money.
see, you made the right decision, right?
And play
Let's
off. Yeah.
let's be completely results oriented with our decision making, right? Is that the
Yeah.
the correct way to play?
Yeah.
No, 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 no. I'm being facetious.
Yeah.
Don't use this as data to say like, well, I made the right decision because I drew a land. That's not the way to
Absolutely.
play. Understand that we just made the wrong decision, in my opinion, but we didn't get punished. Now, the fact that we did that means we're going to win because this hand is gross.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. So we're fetching something, right?
Yeah.
Surveil land.
Yes. Might as
Okay.
well make the best out of it
All right. Here's
because
what's
we
on
don't have.
top. Staying on
I'm
top or
keeping.
going to the graveyard? Yeah.
I'm keeping it. Yeah. We don't have. We need lands.
Yeah. Just thought I'd
So
ask. All right. What are you
yeah,
doing this turn, though?
this is still turn one or turn two.
Oh, right. I would say
Yeah.
play the
Okay.
Amber. Yeah. On turn
Yeah.
one.
Turn two.
Okay. Now we're on turn
Um,
two.
play the Horizon of whichever land. Play one or the other. Really doesn't matter.
It does
Um,
matter. It really matters.
because Horizon of Progress can only pay, oh, I can pay a life, but Horizon of Progress only makes a color of what I could produce, right?
Mm-hmm.
So no, I would play the
I'm assuming we fetched the green black surveil land because we only have green black spells in our hand. So I would say this land can make the colors we need already. So the horizon is
okay,
going to work. So
okay,
I don't want that to be the decision maker. Now this one costs us a life to use every time.
yeah, correct.
So does that
Uh,
mean we just play this one?
we're gonna pay. I don't think, and maybe this is just me being wrong. I don't think it matters that much when we're gonna be generating so much food and cracking it for health and stuff. Maybe it.
You're right
Maybe I'm just.
about that. No. So let me. You're right about that. Like the life payment is irrelevant. Although, if that were the only differentiator, then we might as well just play this one first because we have to pay this life at some point anyway. So
Exactly.
this life
Exactly.
is going to be paid regardless. But the later we could play the horizon, the less life we have to play for it. So might as well
Correct.
play this one first. However, there's a very strong reason to play one of these over the other. And I want you to know what I want you to identify it because it's
It's the draw
extremely
card.
important. No,
It's the
just
okay.
take your time and look at your whole hand and make sure you know what everything does. And if you can't figure it out, just let me know and I'll tell you. But I want you to try to figure it out because it's very important.
I don't see it apart from just the fact that I could tap Horizon if I needed card draw for its last
Okay.
effect, but I
Yeah,
don't see where you're
it's not that.
okay.
So do you know what Lotus Cobra does?
Correct. Whenever a land enters, oh, I'm gonna get 2 triggers
Yep.
from Lotus Cobra.
Yep.
Absolutely, you're 100%.
So, making a mistake here means giving up a free mana at some point.
Hmm.
So we definitely
Correct.
want to play the Horizon like 100% because the fetch land has huge value here. And if we had any other, like anything that says landfall, just
Correct.
remember
Absolutely.
fetch land, very important. Okay, so we play the Horizon. Now what are we casting?
I mean, not definitely not Jahira. Definitely, we don't have enough mana for Academy Manufacturer. We don't have enough mana for Peregrine. So the decisions between Lotus Cobra or Dark Confident,
Or
um,
Frodo?
or Frodo as well. Yeah, I'm not Lotus Cobra.
Hmm.
I have enough mana to cast it next turn and then play the Verdant Catacombs. So I'm not thinking Lotus, and I've already played my land for turn. So Lotus Cobra is not going to do anything for me this turn.
Hmm.
I'm thinking, damn. The issue with Frodo is that I need him out so that way he can start attacking and start tempting me with the ring. But I need to gain health. So even if I
Yeah.
have Frodo out, the ring temps are not going to happen, and I'm not just gonna. I can swing him for 1 damage. Okay, big whoop. But
Hmm.
the issue is the ring's not tempting me or anything.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm in my head. I'm thinking bringing out Dark Confidant.
100%. Definitely.
Yeah.
Bob. They call him Bob
Okay.
because the original art is from the Invitational winner, Bob Mayer. So not this
Okay.
one, but if you look at, anytime you play this card, people will say Bob usually because they know this guy.
Okay.
Funny story about him too. Greatness at any cost is the quote. And he is a later convicted cheater. And I think yeah, so pretty funny.
That's
Um,
hilarious.
yeah. So anyway, Bob, always the right play early. like
Okay.
get this thing online. It's a draw engine. You just want it in play
Yeah.
like ASAP. Yeah, 100%.
Correct.
Now, and something you didn't mention is that playing Frodo turns on the amber. But
Yes.
I don't think we need that this second. So I think your observation about having already played a land this turn, not playing Cobra for that reason is great. This is definitely the right play. So next turn we draw this card, we lose one. Bummer card to reveal off Bob because you don't want
Hmm.
people knowing you have this, but they'll forget. Don't worry about it. They always forget.
So Bob is just going to reveal the top card,
Yep.
and I get to put. But
You draw it. Yeah.
okay, excellent.
You draw an
That was
extra
gonna be my
card every
next question.
turn, you lose life equal to
And
the mana value of the card that was
and
revealed.
reveal it.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome, excellent. Um,
It's not technically a draw, so if someone has a Shieldred out that punishes you every time you draw, it's not drawing. So that's good.
okay,
But if you have a
okay,
benefit to drawing like Alhamrut's Archive, it doesn't help with that.
understood. I mean, I think this. I think the play here is tap 2, bring out Lotus Cobra,
Yep.
then bring in the land. I'm gonna get 2 mana,
You're
any
going to get
color,
1 mana. Why
1
2?
mana from the Verdant. So it's 1 mana for the Verdants.
Okay,
Crack
so what
sacking it.
color are you making?
I'm thinking, and this is me thinking in the future. I want to. So I'm gonna make 2
So
to
before
then.
you figure
Mhm.
out what mana you're making when this enters, let's think about what land we need. So right now let's assume this is a black and green land. I think that's what we would have fetched before. That would make sense.
Okay.
So this is
Yes.
black green. This one copies whatever we can make. So then we definitely want to get white because that's the one we're missing, right?
100%. Yep.
And then what's the other color? We could get either white green or white black here.
I think white green. We don't. I
Yeah.
mean, or yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think so too. So then that means we're going to have access to white green. So what mana are we making when the land enters? And this is how I want you to think about it, like back into the decision versus trying to decide. Think about like what you're doing the rest of the turn, and that'll help.
Okay. I mean, so out of this turn, we're gonna get 3 mana, 2 from the Lotus Cobra, seeing both lands enter, and
Mm-hmm.
then 1 from being able to tap the land itself. So for 3,
Mm-hmm.
I think after tapping all of them, I'd bring out Sam.
Okay, so it
And
doesn't really matter what color we make because like we're gonna, yeah, and you don't have to
exactly.
specify if you're just gonna use it all. Like you can just, you know, play the
Mhm.
fetch land, crack the fetch land. Say I have 2 floating, tap this one, play Sam. Now,
Correct.
why play Sam here? So, you know, if we play Sam, now Amber's online. So we've got 1 more. And then we could drop the Ocelot Pride, or we could hold up the safekeeping. So if you're in this scenario, what do you do?
This is okay. I have the greedy play,
Mm-hmm.
and I have okay, not the greedy play. Be smart and
Uh-huh.
leave it up and keep it for the safekeeping. You know,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
who's gonna cast a turn to board wipe? Who knows? Maybe the guy has. Maybe there's a toxic deluge just waiting for me. You know, so yeah.
Right. So rather than trying to predict the future, because I don't think you can do that, I would say, why don't you think about instead, like, what is the worst case scenario for you here? And if that happens, are you okay with that? So, like, let's say we play the Ocelot Pride, which is a big commitment to the board, right? We have 4 creatures on the board and it's turn 3. So, this is inviting a board wipe, especially because
Yes.
we have 2 creatures that 3 that are very high priority to kill, all 3 of these cards. So, I think, you know, it's not unlikely, but again, forgetting about being able to predict the future, I would say if a board wipe happens here and we lose all of this, are we okay?
I I'm not. I wouldn't be happy with losing it. It's just, and I think
Well,
the
I'm not
biggest reason.
asking if you would be happy. I'm asking, are we okay? Does this hand still like do
Yes, I
stuff?
think it does. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's how I would think about it. Like, and I'm not saying that that's necessarily the right decision here because, you know, it really is going to depend on like what else is on the board. If you see that like a lot of times I'll look at what players just did. Like, so you know that there's a player or two, probably based on what commander they're playing, that are more likely than others to have a board wipe.
Hmm.
And, I would think about from their perspective, like, is it likely that they're going to want to play a board wipe here? If they just played their commander, let's say everyone just played their commander, now it's going into your turn. In that scenario, I feel a lot safer running the Ocelot Pride out because everyone just played their commander. They're not going to want to play a board wipe here. And this board, although it's threatening, it's not like I want to sacrifice my commander that I just cast to board wipe. It's not that
Correct.
like threatening. So that's how I would think about it rather than in a vacuum.
The other thing that I was really that I'm thinking about the protection more than anything is the value in Sam and him making all my food costs one less. I mean,
Hmm.
he just 100% reduced the value of all of my food, for the future and everything because it's cheap. It sucks having to pay 2 mana to consume a food when I can just pay
Yeah,
one with him out.
totally. But, do you even care about sacking food? Like,
Not
only
not
because of Frodo, right?
correct.
So, like,
Yep.
I'm I'm gonna postulate that playing Sam is not even the right play here. Like, you don't you don't need Sam until you have Frodo anyway. And by
Okay.
playing Frodo first, you deal with his summoning sickness, which is like you have to. This costs you a turn always, right? We could throw
Correct.
some haste enablers in the deck, but it's not worth it. Like, there's not enough reasons this deck
Correct.
wants haste. So I think like the play here is like get and then you don't even have to crack the fetch land yet. So don't think you have to rush and crack the fetch land. You could save it for next turn. So you could play the fetch, get the mana from it, green, or no, not green, right? Anything but green. We want white. And then we leave this uncracked. And then, or sorry, Frodo's not out yet. So this is the beginning of our turn, right? We play the
Mhm.
land, we make a white. Now we tap this land for black, and we play Frodo. And now the Amber's online. This is in our hand, actually. And now we have different options, right? We have now potentially access to. Did I play something? Oh, we played the Cobra, right? Sorry. Let's back up for real. This was. What did we draw? We drew. No,
We
we
drew
revealed
Horizon.
this. We revealed the Tamio safekeeping and took one
Correct.
from the Bob, and we
We
drew
drew
Peregrine
Pride.
Took.
No, we drew
Okay.
Pride.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
But regardless, this was our hand.
correct.
We had something else in play, didn't we? Did we play the Cobra last turn? No.
We played the Lotus Cobra last turn, and then we played Verdict Catacombs as land for turn. And I'm sorry, we played Lotus Cobra first, then we put Verdict Catacombs.
This turn.
Correct, turn
So
two.
this is all that was in play at the beginning?
That was just turn one. No,
Okay,
sorry,
okay.
that was turn. Yeah,
Yeah, that was turn two. Okay. So
correct.
yeah. So here we go Cobra,
Mhm.
then Catacombs. We get the
Correct.
white. I guess you have to crack it then to get the. Yeah, we have to crack it. Okay,
Yeah,
so
because we can't tap Amber.
we have to crack and then we would only leave two up. So yeah, so it's a little annoying, but I think the right play is crack the land, get the
Hmm.
black we need for Frodo. So then this land is untapped still. So we could
Okay.
either get a surveil land here, or we could just get an untapped land, play Ocelot Pride, and then leave the safekeeping up anyway.
Okay.
So I think this is the best play because we want to get Sam or Frodo down before Sam anyway. Getting Sam down this turn does the only advantage it gets us is it makes us one extra food, which is good, but it's not that important. And now by having the Ocelot Pride in play going into next turn, right? So let's say our board lives here, or let's say someone says, "Ooh, that Lotus Cobra is the best thing if anyone's going to try to target one thing." I would
Yes.
say, or like if you see a Lotus Cobra on the board that's not yours, kill it. Like always. This is like the scariest
Okay.
card.
Yeah.
So in fact, like all three of these are extremely scary. So like I think this hand wants to get board wiped, and if they do, you save. Like let's say a board wipe happens here, and you've got the mana for the safekeeping. What are you saving?
So
Tough questions.
the safekeeping only saves one thing.
One permanent, yeah.
Oh, frick. I mean, okay, process elimination is going to be the easiest way. I'm
Hmm.
not going to save Frodo.
Okay.
He's not
You're
going to
so
do anything
cruel.
for I want to save him, but he's not going to do
Yeah.
anything for me. Lotus Cobra, I'm not saving the Oscillate Pride either.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think it's worth keeping it. Lotus Cobra is great, but I have to generate cards. I mean, sorry,
Hmm.
lands,
Hmm.
which I may or may not do.
Hmm.
And but Dark Confident is it's going to give me two cards every upkeep. So I think I have to save the Bob one.
Yeah, I think that is well reasoned. The only thing is, like, the Ocelot Pride is, uh, like, with this hand,
Hmm.
with these two cards, the Ocelot and Jaheira, like, these three cards all love the Ocelot Pride. Like,
Yes,
because every food you make now becomes 6 things with these two cards. And then Ocelot Pride doubles those every turn. So
understood.
I would normally agree with you, and I think picking the Bob is a reasonable choice here, but I would also not underestimate this card.
Okay,
And you'll see, as soon as you get one game in with it, you'll see this card is just, it's, there's a reason this is a $40 card. Like, it's
got it.
stupid. This is like, this acts like a 3 or 4 mana creature, and it's a 1 drop. Like, so
Got
don't
it.
don't think like, oh, this house doesn't have that much value because it's only one. It should be like 3.
Understood.
All right, well, we're out of time. Any last questions before we wrap up, or you
I
feeling
don't.
good
I
about
don't.
this?
I feel really good. I'm excited more than anything to play it, so then I can actually start seeing how the
Yeah, I
cards
want to play
interact.
it now. Looks fun. This deck looks so fun.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to try it out. But it's been great.
Sweet.
I really appreciate the help.
Yeah, my pleasure. I love doing this. Thank you for your time, and thanks for coming back.
Yep. Can't wait to see
All
you for the
right.
next one.
Yeah, you too. Have a good night.
Take care.
By supporting me on Patreon, you help me toward my dream of quitting my day job and opening my own local game store. You can earn credits that you can use toward in-depth and detailed deck reviews, one-on-one coaching sessions, custom tokens, and more. Thanks for your consideration. I truly appreciate your support.